Hi guys, welcome back. So we've got a 34-man official England squad to play these autumn internationals, and the big story really is no recall for the likes of George Ford, Mako and Billy Vunipola and Jamie George. Now, whether you think they should be in the squad or not, they've certainly been playing really well and responded perfectly, if you like, to being left out of the squad last time. So certainly I would have thought at least a few of those guys would have made it back in. I thought Mako and Jamie George in the front row probably would have come back in. They've been playing really well. Plus, we're fairly light in the front row, especially with an injury to Luke Cowan-Dickie. So that's a big surprise, to be honest, and pretty harsh, to be honest. George Ford has been playing fantastically well. But, you know, if they're going with Farrell, they're going with Smith, and you can see it, I suppose. But all four of those guys are actually playing really, really well, but not needed, certainly at the moment. We will see. And also a shame that there's no Joe Marchant, there's no Lewis Liner, Ted Hill, Van Portfleet, Joe Hayes. We are missing a few guys that I would have liked to have seen in this squad. But anyway, we've got the squad going off to Jersey to do some training. It's a good squad, of course. I think there's some players who definitely should be in there. Some, I think, maybe are kind of Eddie's favourite type players as well, who, you know, probably often don't actually come through and become world-class players. So let me know what you think. So I'll have a little look through the squad and let you know the team I would pick for the Tonga game. So in the forwards, Jamie Blamire stays, Callum Chick stays, although I'm not sure, is he actually better than Billy Vunipola? I don't know. So, you know, he's certainly a favourite of Eddie. He's a hard worker. He's been playing well for Newcastle, so I see why he's in, but I'm not sure why he's in over Billy. And also they've already got a couple of number 8s in the squad, so fairly fortuitous, I would say, there. Luke Cowan-Dickie is in, despite an ankle injury. Hopefully that's not too bad. Didn't look great, though. Tom Curry's just come back from his rest after the Lions. Looks very rejuvenated, in great shape as always. And then we've got Davison, then Nick Dolly, who is the addition there from Leicester. Now, he has certainly benefited from Leicester being on fire up front, scoring some tries, possibly off the back of some rolling mauls, but also been playing really well himself. And that search for new hookers continues, so he is straight in. Alex Donbrandt, who's still on fire, playing just so well for Harlequins. That's great news. He stays in. Charlie Ewell's a little lucky possibly to stay in. Not quite sure if he's better than Nick Ezekwe or even Ted Hill, who could also play 6 and second row. Genji's there, Johnny Hill, no surprise. Toje's in. Looks like he's picked up a minor injury, but so far, touch wood, sounds like it is just minor. Then Courtney Lord, we've got Lewis Ludlum. Ludlow doesn't make it. I think that is the right call, though I would have liked to have seen Ted Hill in there, like I said, as well. But Ludlum was in the World Cup squad, been playing really well for Northampton. Joe Marler returns in form and looks rejuvenated for Harlequins. Age-wise, still not a problem. It's just personal life wasn't quite working with international rugby. Now he looks like in a lot better place, so England will welcome him back. George Martin, the young Leicester back row / second row, playing fantastically well at the beginning of this season. Still a good few years off his physical peak, but a serious option, I believe. Sam Simmons remains on fire. Certainly a different type of player to Donbrandt, but you know, he's definitely good enough. He scores tries, and I think he needs to work on covering the whole of the back row to make his chance of being in the Matchday 23 serious. Carl Sinclair is in there, Will Stewart, Sam Underhill. I'm not quite sure the propping options are as strong as I've seen them in the past. You know, Will Stewart, Bath, and all these Bath players suffered a massive loss to Saracens the other day. So, you know, there's still a fair few Bath players in there. Let's look at the backs. Mark Atkinson comes in as we thought he would stay in, as England are searching for these inside centre options. Is it desperate? Is it inspired? We will see. He just needs game time, and then we can make a decision on that. Owen Farrell has been playing well for Saracens, to be fair. His goal kicking has been outstanding. Sure, he is a little bit slow to the line. He's not as sharp a mover as Smith or George Ford, but he does look like he's getting his confidence back, and he is the captain, and he covers 12, so I think that's fair enough in the squad. Then a couple of guys coming in from Northampton, Tommy Freeman and George Furbank. Furbank, certainly one of Eddie's favourites. Freeman worth a look. A very talented back who can play all over the back line, probably a 15, very similar to Furbank, to be honest. Only 20 years old, Freeman, so interesting to have a look at him. Malins has recovered from his shoulder injury he picked up in the summer and looks in great form, be it at fullback or on the wing, so that's great to know. Then we've got the first of the scrum halves. Rafi Quirk makes it, and he's been playing fantastically well for Sale. A real powerhouse live wire, a little bit built like Faf de Klerk. And it's a good call. However, very tough on Dan Robson, who's been playing brilliantly for Wasps. I thought he was a genuine shout to start for England. And also Van Poortvliet for Leicester has been playing really well. Great all-rounder. So there's some good strength in that scrum half position. It's obviously just picking the right ones to take through to the World Cup. Thank God we see Adam Radwan. Can't wait to see him go up against the big teams. Harry Randall again. Possibly a little fortunate because of all that competition from the scrum halves. Bristol in a bit of a slump, but he's still Mr. Energizer in that team. Slade's come back into a lot of good form, very smooth. His goal kicking, he started goal kicking again. Could be the long goal kicking option now that Daly is injured. Marcus Smith, thank goodness he's in there. Hopefully is England's first choice fly half. Certainly on form, that is the case. Freddie Stewart, we've talked about loads at fullback. Tuolangi is back, slimmed down. Is that going to keep his injuries away? Is he the same player that we saw, really explode in the World Cup in 2019? Then Watson I mentioned, and Ben Youngs possibly getting in there on reputation a little bit. He's a good player. He's been playing fine, but is he really better than Van Poortvliet and Dan Robson? I'm not so sure. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think on all those selections. Who should be in, who shouldn't be in. Love to know your opinions as always. So let's get straight into the selection versus Tonga. Now, there's only 3 games, so this is their kind of warm-up game, if you like, without being disrespectful for Tonga. They don't have 4 games, so they are going to be playing a team that they want to take most of them through to those 2 big games against Australia and South Africa, I would think. But it is a chance to try a few players as well. Anyway, this is the side I would go with. Up front, Joe Marler definitely starting at loose head for me. Incredibly strong in the scrummage, looks good round the park, looks energised. Now, I think he is England's best loose head at the moment. Surprised not to see Mako in there, but, there we go. Nick Dolly, I would start him actually. Been playing so well for Leicester. If Cowan-Dickie's ankle is a bit dodgy, or just slightly dodgy, I wouldn't risk him anyway. Give Dolly a start, let's see what he can do, if he can take that club form forward. Sinclair, physically, not a problem with Sinclair, just needs to get in the right mental state. Want to see him really explode into this England team. It's certainly been a bit up and down for Bristol. Bristol struggling a lot at the moment. Assuming Itoje is fit and it's only a minor problem with his shoulder or his pec, he starts. I'd put him alongside Laws. I think that's our best second rows. If one of those is injured, if Itoje, doesn't recover, then I think Johnny Hill comes in and starts in the second row. Some of you say Itoje, Laws, is it heavyweight enough? Is it physical enough? Well, I know what you're saying, but certainly athletic and ability-wise, I think they're the best 2. And at 6, I play one of my big 6 options in George Martin. No Ted Hill, so I can't start him anyway. I think he's still young. Like I said, he's going to improve, but certainly a great line-out option. Can step up to second row if needs be, and a beast of a ball carrier already at his young age. On the open side, I'd absolutely start Tom Curry. Sure, he didn't quite live up to his expectations in the Lions series. He did lots of good stuff, but he did make a lot of mistakes. But I still think he's a quality player, in great shape. Him and Underhill, brilliant 2 options at open side. Many would start Underhill, but me, I'm a Curry man at the moment, certainly. Number 8, who would I start? Between Simmons and Donbrandt. I know Chick's in the squad as well, but I think it's Donbrandt all day. He's just been absolutely on fire. Simmons is the perfect guy to bring off the bench, so it just makes all sorts of sense to me. Scrum half, it's a tricky one. I'm sure Eddie will start Ben Youngs. I'll start Rafi Quirk. Bring on Harry Randall. Randall's a great guy at upping the pace. I mean, you could start them the other way around. That would be absolutely fine. But great to see these youngsters get on the pitch for me. 10, like I mentioned, Marcus Smith. Just a brilliant all-rounder, kicking, defence, attacking. I think he's got it all now. No reason not to start him and keep him there for, probably all 3 games, actually. Centre-wise is tricky. Atkinson may be close. I think Eddie will probably start Farrell, to be honest. But I'd go with Tuolangi and Slade. If you have Farrell and Slade, it's just not enough punch for me, not enough muscle. So let's see how Tuolangi and Slade go. Are they going to be as good as they were in the World Cup? Again, very tough on Marchant, not to be in that 13 slot because he's not even in the squad. I can't pick him. So Tuolangi and Slade. And then back three. Obviously, Adam Radwan on one wing as the danger man. And then I quite like having Max Malins on one wing with Freddie Stewart at fullback, giving Stewart that extra fullback, if you like, to help him out. Malins, very classy player. And if he gets some game time, I'm seeing him being really important come games like South Africa when they're going to be kicking a lot. On the bench, we've got Blamar, I think, covering hooker. I think he's a very talented physical hooker. Genge and Davison are the two prop covers. Not massively impressed with England's prop options at the moment. I want to see these guys step up, to be honest. I'm taking two back rows on the bench because for me, George Martin can move up to second row, although maybe the safe option is to take another second row on the bench. But I take Sam Simmons covering 6 and 8, Underhill also covering 6 and 7. Just loads of impact. Just imagine if those two come on. Like I said, Martin covers second row, Donbrandt as well, an emergency second row, so I don't see that being too much of an issue. Then Randall, as I mentioned, Farrell does make it because he covers 10 and 12, which gives an option slot for a back three player. Would have had Lewis Liner if he was in the squad, but he's not, so I think that goes to Johnny May to really push himself back into this team. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of that team, the changes you would make. Pop your teams in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.